Growing up, my grandfather was my best friend. He would ask me questions about the big issues of the day and then sit patiently as my young mind tried to make sense of the world. He was a master storyteller, and on one occasion he asked me, how would I tell my story? I told him I didn't know. He said, once I figured that out, I would find my purpose. Years later, I became a storyteller myself, but it wasn't until I had kids of my own that I remembered what my grandfather's thoughtful questions had done for me. So, starting at home at the turn of the millennium, applying the Bloom system, which uses key life questions to encourage self-discovery, I started interviewing kids once a year in hopes of helping them find their stories.
I think I'm more of a leader. I like to state my own ideas and go my own way. I don't like to be the spotlight of things. I hate listening. I can't stand to sit still for very long.
Do you experience peer pressure?
I have before, plenty of times. A lot of people around you are doing drugs. Things like that really make me mad. Gets me all fired up. I like my athletic side. Like, I love baseball and I love skateboarding. Around girls, I'm really shy. At my sister's party, I'm around all these older kids, you know, I'm trying to look my coolest, and one of them came up and pantsed me all the way off, like nothing on. That was probably the most embarrassing thing. At the beginning of the summer, I started to work for my dad every day, 8-hour days. The first month of school, I got Student of the Month. I got picked to be in a leadership group.
What about drugs and alcohol? Are they starting to invade your life?
No, not really. I was late getting up for school. My sister was sitting on the chair and she said, Simon, look, on TV, terrorists flew into the World Trade Center. And it was just, whoa, this is really out of control. I couldn't imagine what the people felt like on the planes. My family is starting to mean so much more to me because I know that someday there's not going to be there, you know?
If you were on one of those planes and could make one phone call,
I would call my mom or my dad. I'll miss them, I love them, and I appreciated everything that we'd been through together, and love you, goodbye.
I knew that there was something wasn't right. I mean, it was just kind of out of the blue almost. Parents, I mean, they fight. I didn't think that it was getting as serious as it turned out to be.
Zeke, Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Feel that. You don't put presents next to lights.
Well, who said I did it?
Yeah.
Me, the Francos!
It's not that hot, Tommy.
Big present.
My parents on Easter started to not get along very well, and my dad decided that he thought to avoid more argument that he just kind of moved down to the basement. He let us know that they weren't doing too well.
They started talking about getting separated. She said that the upcoming Friday she was going to go out one night and take a night off for herself and spend the night somewhere else. She wouldn't say where. My dad found a fax from a guy.
My dad found out that she was having an affair.
And directions to a bed and breakfast. And my dad confronted her with it, and she basically admitted to having an affair. She left that night. I never imagined that she would ever do something like that to the family, to him. She doesn't seem to really realize what the impact it's had. And even though I forgive her for it, it's still, you know, it still made a difference. It's overwhelming. With the sports on top of the schoolwork, it's just been hit a little hard. All this work and all these expectations, and then on top of that, I've got all these sports that I do year-round. Wish I could just give it up, but I don't want to. When it comes down to the actual sport, I love it more than anything. I love the feeling of winning and glory. I want to go to a good college, be successful. I want to have my own mind.
Such a happy family. Look at those kids waiting for Christmas.
My biggest fear would be her just giving up on wanting to be a part of the family at all. It's a lot to deal with. After a certain point, I just might give up. I was playing Halo 2. They were gonna stay up all night doing Adderall and play Halo. I had a buddy that had some coke, so I did that on my own. I was pretty much hooked just that night.
They were like, Zeke, you wanna do coke tonight? And I was like, I don't know.
Next day, I was like all gung-ho about it, and I got some more, and then after that, it was like every day. I didn't plan on like doing it continuously. It was just like, all right, have a little binge, but just kept doing it. I stole stuff from my dad's house and pawned it. At that point, I was doing meth, and I was also selling weed. Still owe a guy a bunch of money for that. I had no boundaries, man. I just, everything in your head made sense. Like I could think about something and it would all be all right for a small period of time. Eventually it'd come down. It didn't last very long. So you just always want more and more and more and more and more. When I was raised in and around Narcotics Anonymous. It's like AA, but for narcotics. And that was like the backbone of our whole like family structure.
I grew up thinking that everything my brother Simon did was cool. My brother was doing it just nonstop back then.
I felt really responsible. I mean, because I'd be right in his face with it, doing it. I think he's really easily influenced.
Me and Simon doing cocaine was a time that we could bond and we could understand each other in a sense. It wasn't even a real relationship, but it was a relationship nonetheless.
That was like the start of like the big fights where I actually did get some of my stuff and take off. And me and my dad were fighting a lot. And he was pushing me to go move with my mom. As soon as I said, all right, fine, he'd freak out. Eventually, he stopped caring about the family thing. I was always high, so I didn't really care. I didn't feel like even any of my family really knew me because I mean, everything was a lie. I told my mom basically everything. I just went completely downhill. Lost a lot of my friends and went off on my own and dropped out of school, stopped doing sports. Treatment sounded like a really nice place. At that point, I willingly went. My dad found a journal entry that I had written. I've almost given up. I feel like just to be dead and gone would be the best escape. Got so many horrible memories. I never look forward to tomorrow or even care about it now. All the memories of the past few years, they keep me up every night, make me cry, and sometimes I even feel like dying. I can't even remember what it really feels, tastes, looks, or smells to have a mom and a dad in the same household. I want to live a life that I can't imagine ever being real, where I have a loving, functional family, where I am a part of something positive, productive, and important. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I want to hate drugs. The worst part about being addicted is even though you'd give the world to go back in time and never try any drugs, you still give the universe for a little more right now. How many times can a person hit rock bottom before they're finally too beat up from the fall to climb back up? This is a question I ask myself a lot. I wanted to stop doing coke so bad because I was literally losing my mind. I was completely going insane. I was done looking for answers. I was done caring. It was complete apathy. Heroin instantly filled every hole I had inside me. I thought I had found the answer. I had been trying to find some peace with these drugs. I was coming to work maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and I was always late, and I was always fighting with my dad. And I wanted to die. I just really did. There was a bike show in Alki Beach, and I was so freaking sick. Left the house, and I had no drugs left. Am I gonna keel over and die any moment? That's how I felt. And my dad came, and I was like, Dad, we gotta go to the hospital. The next day, the first person I saw was David Prigg. We'd always get high together. He used to always talk about his sister out in Arizona who had gotten clean, and finally one day he just did it. He was gonna go out there and get clean. He said if I wanted help, he could help me. And I got on the plane with him the next day or 2 days later. I don't know why. And I can only credit that to God working in my life. Heroin Anonymous saved my life. Biggest thing that I've learned is I'm just a scared scared little person, just full of fear. Changing myself and the way I behave, and just out of fear of not being good enough. I got to a certain point where I was so sick of doing that. I don't have to live in that anymore.
Your parents splitting up seemed to be a turning point.
When that all happened, all my reservations just kind of went out the window. My best thinking gets me nowhere. My best thinking brought me to life or death. You know, I know I have to do my part. I have like 2-3 guys that I'm accountable to. I sponsor a couple guys, like taking them through the 12 steps, and I've consistently done that. You know, that's the only reason I'm alive is because somebody selfless enough to take time and spend time with me. I don't do anything. I don't even do caffeine anymore, man. So it's been just a little bit over 18 months. Just believe that God's everything to me. There seems to be some sort of divine rhythm behind it all. My relationship with my family has never, ever been better. I like me. I feel like I'm sometimes a little bit strange and quirky or whatever, but I like it, and I've been able to share that with my family. I love all of them. I see their qualities and the way that they shine, and I'm just like, wow, they are incredible. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna miss out on like what I'm supposed to do. I want to be able to like backpack around the world. I just know I want to help people. I'm determined to do whatever I need to do to right the wrongs that I've done. I had wanted to go to Haiti. I had learned a little bit about Haiti. Those people have faced so much oppression. I had found out about an event happening in Haiti to do reforestation to improve the quality of life for people there. The idea of, well, I just wanted to go there and connect with them and see if I could contribute. I want to help. I found a flight from southern Florida for $60 to Haiti. I thought, you know, I'd been wanting to do a bike trip. I made a little bit of money working on the boat, and I used the money to buy a bicycle. I rode from northern Arizona to St. Augustine, Florida. Planned the route the night before I set out. Completely naive. I didn't even consider topography or anything. I was in the mountains, and I didn't even cross my mind. And I spent almost 3 days riding uphill. I broke down, I ran out of water. I could barely get 2 pedals in. I'd have to stop. I'm not a cyclist. I'm just a guy who bought a bicycle and started pedaling it. 70 miles, I hadn't seen a single establishment, just nothing but desert wasteland in Texas. Texas is really big. It was valuable to see, like, how do I actually react? I found out that I broke down initially, and then I became empowered, felt strong and confident. The Haitian people that I met were some of the most passionate people I've ever been around, and it felt good to relate to those people. As a human being going there, contributing to the natural ecology of the land, you're improving the quality of life. I want to be a part of a working relationship with other human beings on this planet where we're improving the quality of life and sharing in the magic and the beauty of it. I definitely became a leader in the community. I feel like I have the respect of the people that I have relationships with here, and I respect them a lot. I came here to learn about community life and community development. From the time I was born, I've been trying to figure out who I am. I think there's just comes a time when, you know, change is required. Freeing myself and feeling good about not having to subscribe to the general ideas of what's acceptable. What I love about this place is the fusion that happens between the people when, you know, we all have a common goal and we believe in it. Just living every day like we're living good lives and we're living fulfilled lives and we're living authentically. And for me, it really is an honor and it's a privilege. I took the last shot of heroin that I've ever took in the women's bathroom of SeaTac Airport, and then I got in a plane. Then I haven't used heroin or done any hard drugs. It's been about trying to find my own truth and be able to live it. If I really could be homeless and be happy. Feel free and have a sense of purpose and have a sense of living authentically. It's all I really think that I want.
Through good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. I'm Gennette Cordova, and I am 11 years old, and I go to Ridgecrest Elementary School.
So what is your favorite part of school?
My favorite part or the most important part?
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Well, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is socializing, yeah.
And what's the most important part?
Probably learning.
Would you like to be president?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
What's something that makes you really happy?
Running track. I really love to run track.
Who do you admire most?
I really admire my mom. She's been through a lot in her life, and she's dealing with everything.
You going to middle school next year?
Mm-hmm.
What are you most looking forward to?
I just picked my electives for registration, and I'm doing journalism and chef school, and I think those are my top two. I think that's really going to be cool.
Is it safe to say that your life has changed a lot in the last 10 months?
Yeah. At Ridgecrest, things were like a lot easier because everything really came naturally to me. And so when I went to middle school, I realized that I was gonna have to actually study, and I kind of got behind on that, and so my grades kind of dropped dramatically.
And your mom's not too pleased about that. Has it caused stress in your relationship?
Kind of. We've been arguing a lot. Like, she says the reason my grades are dropping is because of my friends, and
Now, if for some reason you woke up unpopular tomorrow,
that's my worst fear, actually.
how's high school?
I'm loving high school. I go to a lot of dances. I go to a lot of football games. My friends are great. We do everything together. So, yeah, high school has been great so far.
How are things with your mom?
Now that I'm in high school, she's giving me way more space. She probably thinks I'm boy crazy and could focus more, but taking honors and AP classes for English every year.
What about parties, alcohol, that kind of thing?
I do get distracted. I mean, I guess I could slow down the drinking, but I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Everyone goes out. All my friends, we all go out. We go to parties. We throw parties. And it's just something, everyone's doing. So,
Any romantic interest?
I've been dating my boyfriend, Jeff, for a while now. He's a nice guy. I like him. I don't know where it's gonna go, what happens when I go to college, when he goes to college, but I'm young, so, I'm not thinking about that yet. In my senior year of high school, I had this bad breakup, totally my fault, and I went away to school, not over it at all when I went away to college. And I was drinking a lot, and I got really, really depressed. Psychological problems are not something that people talk about. It seems like people just feel like that's kind of like a made-up thing. You're just not being tough enough. You don't realize that depression is a real thing. I didn't really feel like I could talk to people about it, and I was by myself for the first time, and I wasn't with any of my close friends. I would cry all the time, and I would, stay in bed for days at a time, and I would drink at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I think one of the worst things for me was that like my family didn't know, and I really didn't feel like I could tell them what was going on at all, because I was like this sweet angel, you know, good child to them. It got to the point where it was unmanageable. I was at a party, Memorial Day weekend, and I just kind of snapped. I ran a bath and I got in with all my clothes on and I tried to hack my wrist open with a bread knife. My friends found me and brought me to my mom's, and being in the hospital though was really one of the best things that could have happened to me, because just being there kind of, you know, snapped me out of it. I really needed my parents to help me, and it was kind of the first time I'd ever really needed them to help me with anything. I really look back on that and I'm just like, I have no idea, like it doesn't feel like me at all. It really doesn't feel like the same person. My name is Gennette Cordova, and I am 22.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I would like to be a journalist when I grow up.
Okay, primary weakness you need to work on right now.
It's weird to say, but like I have little to no work ethic. It's a major problem. I just feel like I had so many people my whole life tell me like that, like you're so smart, that it's just like I never felt like I had to try, and it really carried over into college. I want to do journalism, and I consider myself a pretty good writer.
When's the last time you cried and why?
Probably about 3 months ago. It was during the whole scandal thing.
It's time to clear up some of the questions that have been raised over the past 10 days or so and take full responsibility for my actions.
This is the picture that started the controversy, tweeted from the account of one of Congress's brightest Democratic stars and directed to the Twitter name of this 21-year-old college student. But it was the congressman's response that created the firestorm.
Answer the question, was it from you or not?
Permit me, do you guys want me to finish my answer? That'd be reasonable. You do the questions, I do the answers, and this Jack interrupts me. How about that as the new rule of the game?
Started getting into politics when during the 2008 election, and I'm watching Fox News, Hannity, I think, and there's this politician, Anthony Weiner, and he's just really funny and like outspoken.
You vote yes if you believe yes. You vote in favor of something if you believe it's the right thing. If you believe it's the wrong thing, you vote no. We are following a procedure. I will not yield to the gentleman, and the gentleman will observe regular order. The gentleman will observe regular order.
I found him on Twitter, and I just like tweeted about something about like, who is this guy? He's hilarious. You know, I really hadn't known who he was before. And one day I have a message from him, a private message, and it's like, thanks, like thank you for the support, basically. And I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. We talked occasionally, Anthony Weiner and I, like via Twitter, but it was never anything inappropriate or sexual or anything.
Last Friday night, I tweeted a photograph of myself that I intended to send as a direct message as part of a joke to a woman in Seattle. Once I realized I had posted it to Twitter, I panicked. I took it down and said that I had been hacked. This woman was unwittingly dragged into this and bears absolutely no responsibility. I am so sorry to have disrupted her life in this way. To be clear, the picture was of me, and I sent it. I'm deeply sorry for the pain this has caused my wife, Huma, and our family.
Tell us about your high school paper.
In the senior edition of the paper, these kind of joking superlatives that you do in like the funny edition of the paper, and I one most likely to be involved in a tabloid scandal. During the entire thing, I was like completely tucked away. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't want to be interviewed. I was like trying to stay away from reporters. Somehow, like, reporters had gotten a list of like my friends' phone numbers and calling them all the time to get questions, and no one said anything. Like, everyone was, and I just felt safe at least. And it was hard not to come out and do an interview and say something. Like, I do not want to capitalize off of this at all. You know, and there are people calling, willing to like pay for interviews, fly me to New York, but I couldn't do it. And it was hard because it's like, don't come from money, and, times are hard, school's expensive. I don't know, I wouldn't have felt right.
When you're going through all this stuff, did part of you feel like, ugh, I made these decisions?
Definitely, the entire time, from the very beginning, because it was, all these people judging me and, kind of making me out to be this homewrecker, and I wasn't, but I didn't feel innocent. I felt really bad about, my past and all the drinking and all, stuff like that. So I let this student photographer come in to take a picture of me, because all the pictures of me that were in the papers were really bad. I didn't like any of them. They were like me out partying or in a bar or stuff like that. And he had an assistant with him. And they took all of these pictures, and I felt really uncomfortable with it, and something just felt kind of weird. And the next day, I found out that his assistant was a reporter with the New York Post, and I was front page of the New York Post. And it was like, Gennette Cordova sits down for exclusive interview and photo shoot with the New York Post, and I just completely lost it. I just couldn't even believe it. It's just, how is this? It's so unethical. It just shook my whole world. Like, I just was in this bubble, safe at least, while everything was falling down around me. I just at least felt like no one could touch me, no one could get to me. It just made me realize, the way I was being treated, it really made me realize, I am not a little kid anymore. No one's treating me like a kid. They're just, saying whatever they want, putting my name, age, location, picture in the paper. There's no protection at all. Afterwards, I kept trying to feel normal again, and I just realized normal was gonna be completely different from then on. Nothing was ever gonna feel the same. I feel like I came through the scandal relatively unscathed. It's really hard to go through, but it's good because it showed me who was there, and who really cared. I mean, I knew I liked journalism before, but during the scandal was when I really decided this is what I want to do with my life. My writing is well received. I'm experiencing all these major breaches in journalistic ethics that I just want to not be like that. There's a writer for the New York Times, and she's just you need to get serious about school and move out to New York. This is where you need to be. Introduce you to some people who just, and I'm actually moving to New York in August, so kind of ended up being this blessing in disguise.
What's your name?
Gennette Cordova.
How old are you?
I am 25.
How have you changed in these last 3 years?
So I'm volunteering with seniors in New York. I was with these social workers. They were doing the orientation. I felt so comfortable around them because she's like, gosh, I've been around these people my whole life. My mom has been, as long as I can remember, has been essentially doing social work. Going down my mother's path so quickly, it just veered
At one point, you wanted a different mom.
Like, I had an imaginary mom.
What?
Yeah, Laura. Laura, she worked at McDonald's.
Who has an imaginary mom?
I know. I wonder if that hurt her feelings. But I don't think so. But we have a really interesting relationship right now. We're really just friends, so it's pretty cool. It's really nice, actually.
If you were an animal, what would it be?
Definitely a cougar, because my parents went to Wazoo. I'm a huge sports guy.
What do you play?
Baseball, basketball, soccer, and flag football in the park with friends. And I'm actually doing basketball and arena soccer simultaneously right now, so. I had a lot of health problems as I was a kid. You have a muscle in your stomach called your duodenum. It pumps food into your stomach, and mine was too big, so it would let too much through at once. So I get like terrible, terrible stomach aches, and I had a big surgery, and I had a gastrostomy tube, which is, if you picture like the thing that you blow up a beach ball with, that was pretty much in my stomach, like right here. And I would get fed through it every night. When I went in for my big surgery in first grade, my whole class made me a get well card, and they all, whenever I look at that, I just get really happy. Like, most of my friends, my best friends from now were in that class. That is one of the things that, like, about me, is that I have such great friends. Besides for that a little bit, like, stunting my height, you know, it's just a little bump in the road. I'm really grateful for my friends and family. I love my family. Like, my sister is great. I have an 8-year-old sister, and we get along really good. And
What makes you really happy?
doing something special with my family, going on an outing or on a vacation. My parents are pretty cool. I do. I really love my dad, and I really love my mom, and I am really close to both of them. I can talk to them about anything. They've just always been there for me. You know, it kind of caught me by surprise. My parents are splitting up. I thought it was kind of getting better because we were like really close as a family. They said, it's not because of you at all. My dad's an alcoholic. That kind of came into the open like when they split up, which was like the worst timing ever. So, you know, he's working on that, and I don't think it's good for him to be working on that, you know, without us. They could get back together, like, I'm not ruling it out, but I can't really visualize that happening.
What makes you really happy these days?
Baseball, playing, watching, working. I love baseball.
So you kept on doing sports. You never stopped doing anything.
Nope. Yeah, it makes me so happy. Next summer, my friends and I, my Queen Anne friends and I, are planning a trip to see a baseball game in every stadium in one summer. About a year and a month from now, I will be departing.
Here's some height markers.
Well, I guess I see less of my dad. I'm used to it now, you know? I mean, it seems more normal to me now.
Did it sour your view of marriage at all?
Yes, it certainly does.
I want to know how you spent your summer vacation.
I had the best summer vacation of my life. I left the day after school ended. on June 11th at 4 in the morning, and my 3 best friends and I hopped in a van on an 8-week tour to see a baseball game in all 30 Major League ballparks. It took us 54 days. We drove 14,683 miles. I think when we got to Detroit, it was kind of in the middle of that long stretch. We're like, let's just put it out there. And so we sat around and we told each other what we didn't like about us. And it was great because we just laughed and laughed and laughed. I think the main digs on me was that I made a lot of bad jokes, and I realize it. But we're still best friends.
What was it like being in a fraternity this year with the drinking issue?
Definitely partied on the weekends, and it's really fun, but I actually have some news for you. Won't be going back to Loyola next year. I got pretty much really bad grades, like I just didn't do well.
So did you flunk out?
Yeah.
Is that hard for you to say?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much the one thing that I haven't really been honest with like you and your camera about in the years that we were doing interviews is in high school, it was a lot of this, like I almost flunked out of high school. I went home and I just pretended like everything was okay. Basically, my therapist and I always draw parallels with my dad and that he lies about his drinking. I'm definitely getting away from that because I don't want to be tethered to that, you know?
How's your dad doing?
I don't think he's doing so well. I haven't seen him since I've been back for a month and a half. He's canceled lunch on me like 4 times.
So I had an anxious first month at SOU.
Hey, what do you say, Chris? Jason, now 18 on bed.
It had been 2 years since I had stepped on the diamond. And so I give a little team talk before the game. I'm like, hey guys, we got 9 innings. We were real close yesterday. We got a chance to take this game, you know, and I'm just pump them up a little bit. And there's beautiful views of the Three Sister Mountains just past the field. I go to step into the box to lead the game off, and it starts snowing. And I ground out to first. But but it's just this light snow that we just play through for a couple innings. And
So then, what have you learned about yourself as it relates to this problem you've been having in the school? Where do you think it comes from?
I would catch my dad drinking all the time. I would get super mad and upset about it. And then it just happened so often that I tried to make myself not be upset about it, right? And then eventually I wasn't, and I didn't care, and that kind of seeped into a general kind of emotional level where I wouldn't do my homework, and I'd be like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna, or I'll do that later, knowing full well I was not gonna do it.
What's your relationship like with your dad now? What's been going on with him?
I mean, mostly the same, which is not good. He texts me multiple times every day, and I never respond. And I've just told him this. I'm like, if you want to talk to me, just call me. Pick up the phone. I'm happy to chat with you about the Mariners, over the phone or something. And he just basically, I don't know, he hasn't. In fact, I don't think he's actually called me in like a long time that I think about it.
That says to me you are constantly on his mind.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to talk cold turkey to you.
No, because he's not sober.
So what do you think is your greatest fear?
My mom or my sister being unhappy.
Unhappy?
Yeah.
You've told me you feel responsible for some of your mom's unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
Who else has caused her a lot of unhappiness?
Yeah.
Who?
Dad.
So is your greatest fear actually that you'll turn out like your dad?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Because he just lost what he loved, you know? Pretty much all of it. You know? And I lost baseball.
You kind of found your field of dreams there.
Yeah. You either go to what you love or you make it come to you. You know, I went to Ashland and I played baseball, and that's something I love. You know, I'm not all the way better. I've got, you know, there'll be a week where I get bummed about something or stressed about my dad, or I don't know. It's just, honestly, it's just making me nervous and stressed because the clock is ticking, you know. He's not healthy. He's been drinking for 15, 20 years, just lots and lots and lots of beer. I had a big surgery when I was born and another when I was 6 years old. And for some years before that, I'd get these very, very painful stomach aches, a bad one, as we called them. There was only one place where I felt totally safe, and that was in his arms. He'd hold me like a football sometimes and pace for hours and hours in the middle of the night. And he'd sing a really, really soothing song called Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. And I would be very, very happy to be able to sing that to my son or daughter in a time far from now that they will need to hear it. Because I received so much of his love, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Our stories, whether we're trying to find our place in the world or on the roadmap to adulthood, who we love, who we are, who we want to be, what we live for, and what we would die for. Our stories are ours and ours alone. But who will write them? Who will tell them? And how will they be epic?